Hey guys, welcome to our first ever Sip and Sew with Simple Simon and Company. I am Liz, and today we are making rag wreaths. That's right, rag wreaths. We're bringing back the 90s. So put on your flannel, turn up the Nirvana, and let's get to crafting. What you're gonna need today is a wire wreath frame, and I got this one at the dollar store for $1. So this is not an expensive project. So I've got my wire wreath frame, and then you're gonna need a bunch of strips, like 10 bazillion, not really 10 bazillion, but quite a lot of fabric strips. These are all just strips of fabric that I pulled out of my scrap bin and chopped up. So the strips, I like to cut them into pieces that are about 1.5 inches wide and 8 inches long. They don't need to be exactly 1.5 inches wide and 8 inches long. They can be somewhere in that zone, especially depending on what strips you have. Kind of up to you. That's what I like to make mine. It's a pretty easy, good rule of thumb to make it work out pretty well. And then the last thing you're going to need is your drink, because it is a sip and sew. Today I've got my Dr. Pepper with some, what did I put in there today? Oh, today I've got a piece of an orange, like half of an orange, and some chocolate syrup. That's right, chocolate syrup. It's delicious. It tastes like a chocolate orange at Christmas. Oh. Anyways, this is not about my soda, but it is good. It's about making our rag wreath, so let's get going. So I've got my frame. I'm going to move this guy out. I'm just going to give you a reminder. So this is what this looks like without my face in the middle. So this is what it's going to be the end project. Let's take our wreath frame right now, and I'm going to show you how to tie the pieces of fabric on. Now there's not a real method that you have to do it like this. I've just made about 8 million of these, and so this is the method that I found makes your wreath look the fullest and the cutest, and you're not going to get like any weird empty spots. So I'm going to take mine, let's see, I'll do maybe a black and white one. So I'm going to take and I'm going to find one of these cross sections, and I'm going to start and I'm going to work from cross section to cross section. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this right here, and maybe you can see, and I'll show it up closer. There are actually 4 wire rims that go around the circumference of the wreath to make up the wreath. I'm going to start and I'm going to do 2 on the outside and 1 on the inside. Now give me just a second and I'll show you what I mean. Let me get this first one tied on. I usually tie everything in a double knot just so it stays on nice and tight, and I do tie mine pretty tight. You kind of want to tie consistently, because if you have some that are pretty tight and some that are loose, it does look a bit wonky, but I have to say there really is no way to screw these up. So, okay, so here's number 1. I'm going to show you from the back side. So I do it, you'll be able to tell your wire wreath kind of is rounded. So the rounded side goes on the outside and the flat side is the back side. So you're going to put your knots in the front, and I did, like I said, outside to inside. So on these 2 outside rims, I tied 1 knot around it. Now I'm going to do that with this next guy. And I'm going to mix it up. I think I'm going to do some polka dot. He's going to go on the next outside, the next 2 outside ones. And I'm going to keep these guys together. I'm going to tie it once, tie it twice, and then I'll hold it up again so you can see what I've got going on here. And then I'm going to push them up next to that wire cross piece. So I've got 2, and I'm going to show you up close, that are on the outside. So going on the outside, going on the outside. Now I have a hole here. That's going to look weird, right? So now that's why my next one is going to be in the middle. I always go 2 outside, 1 inside, 2 outside, 1 inside, all the way down. So let's do maybe some gingham. Put some gingham in the middle. This would be fun to have an all black and a white one. Now for mine that I showed you for the example, I used all different colored scraps. I just used whatever scraps were on top of my bin. But it is cute if you want to make them like a solid color scheme, if you do all different shades of reds and pink, or like this guy if you do them all black and white. And I'll show you an example of my daughter who tried to do a pattern with some different colors. I'll show you that here in a second. Okay, I'm going to leave this down here a little bit. So I did this guy in the middle too. Now you can see he's in the middle. So we've got 2 outside, on the outside, and on the outside. I'll try to hold these together so you can see. And now I've got 1 guy in the middle, and I'm going to slide everybody up to the top. And now I'm going to do 2 on the outside, 1 on the inside, all the way down, all the way around. Now let me show you the back side of this guy, and you can kind of see that a little bit better. So you can see here we've got outside, inside, outside, inside, outside, inside, all the way around. It makes it nice and fluffy and full and super easy. So you can see that this is going to take a while. So like I said, it's a great project to work on at night. So what I would do when I make these is I cut up all my pieces, I take my wire frame, and then I find something to binge watch on Netflix. So, or put on a good movie. That is it. Easy peasy. Now, if you don't want to use fabric, you don't have to use fabric. You can use anything that you can tie in a knot. So, I mean, I wouldn't use something like yarn. That's not going to look full and it's not going to look cute. But one thing that does look super cute is tulle. If you'd make them out of tulle, they're darling, and there's tons of really cute tulle out there right now that's got sparkles and all sorts of stuff in it. So tulle is a great way to make rag wreaths out of. Or another thing you can use is ribbon. Now this is the only ribbon I had on hand up here today. I probably wouldn't use this ribbon. I would use a little bit thicker ribbon, just because you're going to want it to be more full. But you can use sheer ribbon. You can use the silky ribbon. Ribbon looks adorable on these wreaths too. So those are your choices. Now the wreath that I'm working on today, because Thanksgiving's coming up, I made mine out of strips of burlap. So you can see I've got my strips of burlaps going on. It is a lot chunkier than your fabric strips, and it frays a lot. So you can see though on the back I did the same thing. 2, 1, 2, 1. Same exact thing, just used a different kind of fabric. Just used some burlap. And I love how the burlap's turning out. I think that one's going to be really fun. I might actually mix two together. I might do burlap and tulle. We'll see how that works out. If it looks awesome, it'll be on the blog. If not, you'll never hear about it again. Now, if you want to have like a more full step-by-step tutorial with everything written out, you can check out over on our blog. It's going to be up next week. Just Google or do our search bar under rag wreath if you can't find it, or if you're watching this later and it's been up for a while, just look under rag wreath. All right, that's it. I'm going to retire now down to the downstairs. I'm actually going to watch me some Seinfeld. I'm feeling the 90s. I'm going to take my drink, I'm going to take my burlap wreath, I'm going to get it finished and get it up on the blog. Talk to you later. Bye-bye.